Radio bug while he was serving in the U.S. Air Force in the early 70s. His first job in broadcasting was a part-time on-air gig at a station in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Following his honorable discharge, Charlie came to San Antonio, where he went to work as a copywriter at KONO-KITY in 1977. But this was only the beginning. Charlie soon moved to the station's programming department while filling in on-air overnights at both stations. In 1981, he was lured back to Florida, but this didn't last long. Charlie returned to San Antonio a year later to work afternoon drive at KCCW. Over the next 10 years, he would work at KLLS, do mornings at KKYX, work at KRIO part-time, work at KRIO part-time, and then find a spot over at KTSA. Then in 1992, Charlie moved to WOAI Radio Sports, where he hosted pre, post, and halftime programs for the Spurs games. He also hosted several sports talk shows, including a weekly show with Dallas Cowboy coaches and a weekly show with Houston Oilers coaches. In 1995, Charlie helped launch WOAI's Ticket 760, and in addition to his duties at WOAI, he became the first local host on the first sports talk station in San Antonio. In 2000, he paired with Chris Duell for an afternoon talk show that attained the highest ratings of any show before or since on WOAI. In 2003, Charlie found his permanent home as WOAI's Morning Drive talk show. 25 years have gone by, and Charlie is still pulling in numbers with listeners in 38 states, parts of Mexico and Canada, and worldwide on iHeartMedia's streaming service. Charlie Parker has a unique style of combining common sense observations with strong opinions, which have kept him at the top of the radio game for a quarter of a century. Oh, and as a true radio broadcaster always does, Charlie has donated thousands of hours to support his community and local charities. Today, Charlie Parker enters the San Antonio Radio Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Parker.
Charlie, try not to be broken. I'll try.
We've been moving at a pretty good clip here, don't you think? Yeah. That's about to change. Too much to say. First of all, I am not related to Mona Parker, but if y'all don't mind, I'd love to kind of like work that in. Just saying people. All right? I won't go overboard. And thanks, Rudy. By the way, I don't know if y'all know, I was surprised that Rudy made it here today. I don't think he's ever been north of Hildebrand. And I, of course, got that from Bill Dante. Congratulations to all of today's inductees. I think it's a pretty damn good class. Yesterday, of course, was the Pro Football Hall of Fame inductees. And I don't think that today is a coincidence. Some of the greatest went in yesterday into the Pro Football Hall of Fame today. And I want to congratulate everyone that is going in this class. I'm the crier. I've got napkins. I also tend to digress a lot. So if I start to do either, it'll become obvious both times. Just feel free to go. Speed it up. Speed it up. As a pastor, I caught luck with Mary already. It's supposed to be a happy day, and it is.
Hold it together, brother. It's okay, bro.
Right.
It's okay.
Also a sad day. Yesterday, 20 people were killed, 29 were injured in El Paso, Texas. And when that happens these days, we ask ourselves, when's it going to happen again? Yesterday, it was 13 hours. Then 9 people were killed and over 20 were injured in Dayton, Ohio. I just bring that up because I think we should. Well, let me back up a second. Someone asked me earlier today, what do you know about the shooter? You know anything about the shooter? I guess they assume because I do what I do for a living that I know things. I you don't. I said, no, I don't really know anything, but I could probably proffer a couple of guesses. The guess probably came from a bad environment. Certainly had some kind of mental health issue. And they both had guns. Guns that shoot a lot of bullets real fast. I bring that up because I just want everybody to pray for those deceased, the victims, their families, and those communities. We're all a product of our environment. Good, bad, sometimes more good, sometimes more bad. I had a pretty decent one. Kind of rough at times. I should have done like everybody else and just put this on a sheet of paper. We all know nobody achieves anything without support. Nobody. I've been lucky in that respect. I want to thank my mother. Don't get me started there. My father, sometimes. My sisters. My wife, Eva. My daughters, Kayla, Jordan. Y'all are my rock. I love you. Thank you for keeping me grounded. As grounded as I can possibly be. Okay. I still haven't seen anybody going like this.
Not gonna happen.
If my math is correct, I think Liz alluded to this a little earlier, that there's like over 100 people in the San Antonio Radio Hall of Fame. Oh, in the society, excuse me. Also, I don't hear real good. Well, if my math is correct, and I went to South San, so yeah. With today's 13 inductees, or enshrinees, there's now 119. I've worked directly or alongside 48 of them. Yeah, I don't know what that says. It's a lot of people getting old. I want to thank Tom Ray and Bill Rohde for the nomination. It's an honor and a privilege. And I'm about halfway through, I think. So far, I haven't digressed at all. I want to finish Stan's story. We were working together. And it kind of went, yeah, Stan's probably right. I don't remember much. But I do remember that after going to that corner office and talking to Bill Rohde, Bill demanded that I make an apology to the individual who ran Pearl, Lone Pearl, whatever the case was at the time. Rightfully so. And I did apologize to that individual, face to face. Here's where it gets really good. That individual turned out to own property up in the hill country somewhere on like a freaking lakefront with a big giant house and four-wheelers and horses and stuff. I got invited up there for like a 3-day weekend. I started going through the phone book looking for other businesses that I could possibly attend. Bill, you know what you mean to me. Thanks for taking a chance. Appreciate it. Want to thank Don Calzer and Lee Woods. Everybody knows Don Calzer and Lee Woods. I am not going to tell the story about Don Calzer and Lee Woods going to Mexico, buying a donkey, and ending up in jail. I could tell the story, but I'm not going to. Feel free to ask me later, and I'll give you every single detail. And Lee, I want to thank Lee for his service to this country as well. And while I'm on that, and to Albert. I knew Albert. I went to school with him. We were friends. I swear to God I thought his last name was Allegre. I did. My brief stay at KTSA, well, I need to back up. Not only do I digress, I get lost. Which is basically sometimes because digress doesn't mean go backwards. Digress means you're just going all over the place. At KKYX, I worked with the great Gerald Clyde King. I worked with David Foster, Pat Tallman. Along with Bill, those three are San Antonio Radio Hall of Famers. Also worked with Chrissy Mernon, San Antonio Radio Hall of Famer. I worked with Bill Cody, who's now at WSM in Nashville. Not a San Antonio Radio Hall of Famer, but a country music radio Hall of Famer. And the first time I don't know how it works, but if I ever get into that position where I'm allowed to nominate, Bill Cody will be first on the list. My brief stint at KTSA, I want to thank Dan Schiller, Ricky Ware, and Brad Messer. When I went to KTSA, I was only there briefly. I had just been let go. I can't remember who the company was.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really. And I thought I was done. I thought I was going to I didn't know what I was going to do, but I thought I was going to have to do something else. And Brad Messer, I don't know what Brad Messer saw in me, but he talked me out of it, gave me a lot of guidance, and that's when I got really lucky. That's when Jay Howard hired me at WOAI to work in the sports department. And when if that time ever comes where you get to make nominations, and if I get to do it, Jay Howard will be number 2 on the list. Or will be the second. I don't know if he'll be number 2. We'll see when I get just a little bit further into my cards. I want to thank Chris Duell. As it was pointed out, we had some great success. I don't know how it happened, except for the fact that Andrew Ashwood is the one who put it into play. Took me from sports and told me I was going to news talk. Dude, I don't like news. I really don't even like sports talk. But, you know, he says, you're going to be partnered with Chris Duell. Who's Chris Duell? I don't know Chris Duell. He's a comedian. A comedian? How much radio experience has he got? None? Okay. Andrew knew what he was doing. Took a longer time than I'll tell you now, but to explain to me that comedians have a weird way of looking at things, different ways at looking at things. And we did have the highest ratings ever and since on that radio station. And again, that was all due to Andrew Ashwood. The best, most knowledgeable program director I ever worked for. And he'll be missed. Rest in peace, Gorilla. Stan Kelly. The stories I can tell. And the stories I've told. Lucky for you, they're not today. I appreciate your friendship more than your professionalism, which is as good as it gets. And I'm just going to keep it at that, because I'll really start crying. You're a great friend. I love you, man. And finally, to my current family, Program Brian Gann, Program Director Brian Gann. By the way, Brian, you're right behind Andrew. So I now have my orders. If I ever get to nominate, it'll be Andrew Ashwood, Bill Cody, Jay Howard. Except maybe tomorrow it'll be Jay Howard, Andrew Ashwood, Bill Cody. I'm not sure. But my current team, Brian Gann, our program director, news director Jim Forsyth, my producer Tim Merriman, Mr. T, Charity McCurdy's here. Charity, stand up. Please. Megan Bishop. Megan, please stand up. And Dave Baylor. You almost, that group, almost makes it tolerable to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Almost. But you do make my job much easier and fun most of the time. And when it's not fun, it's obviously not because of you all. When it quits being fun, I'm gone. You know, I started out talking about environment, and that those individuals yesterday, I believe, came from a bad one. I don't know. We'll find out sooner or later. As soon as the media gets through doing what they want to do for the next 2 weeks, it's of absolutely no consequence. But I want to wrap up with some words of wisdom from former Beatle John Lennon. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. All you need is love. I encourage you, please, love someone, encourage someone, support someone, try to give somebody somewhere an environment that's going to help them move on. We owe it to them and we owe it to ourselves. Shout out to Sutton's mom. Roll Tide. Thank you and praise God.